Hello everyone, this is Fraxon here, and today we're gonna be taking another look at some arena. So let's see which three classes are available to us today. Okay, so there's Rogue, Paladin, and Mage. So just out of personal preference, and as you may see, like I have actually unlocked Golden Paladin, so 500 wins in ranked, and therefore I will be choosing Paladin for this arena. So let's start seeing our first picks. So Holy Wrath is a 5 cost. There's of course hilarious videos on YouTube with people using Holy Wrath. Oh my god, I top deck Deathwing or something like that, and I do 12 damage to the opponent. Ooh, so strong. But it's actually a pretty bad card. I mean, you draw a card and maybe you do an average of, let's say, 3 damage. I mean, it just doesn't cut it. Matter Bomber is a sort of okay card. It can help you catch up if you're really behind, but here the real value is clearly in Sludge Belcher, which is a 5 mana, 3/5 with taunt, and then it spawns another taunt. Can be really annoying, can save you a lot of damage in arena. Going on to the next pick. Okay, Puddle Stomper, very ordinary, very bland, 2 mana 3/2, nothing special. Fair Dragon is pretty much the same, apart that it can be targeted by hero powers or spells, which is pretty good because it means it really sticks to the board. Spellbreaker is a 4 mana 4/3 with silence. It's uninspiring. I mean, there's for 4 drops you're looking more to get Yetis, maybe mechanical Yetis that are 4/5s. I mean, that's pretty much it. Next pick instead, we have the Elven Archer, 1 mana, basically doesn't do anything. Flying Machine, a 3 mana garbage card, and Mad Bomber is, let's say, the only acceptable card right here, so I'm gonna pick him. After that, ooh, Pit Fighter, new card, interesting. Now I have to think of how I want to evaluate this one. Okay, let's just immediately discard the easy card that's bad. That's Voodoo Doctor, when it just doesn't do enough. Hungry Dragon is very good because for 4 mana you get 5/6, but you summon a 1 cost minion for the opponent, which in worst case scenario means pretty much Zombie Chow, which is a 2/3. So it really depends. Pit Fighter is 5 mana for 5/6 with no drawback. Seeing how lucky you feel, you can choose either of those. And I will be taking Hungry Dragon. But that's, of course, how risk-averse or risk-prone you are. Here we are, Ice Rager, 5/2. No, not good enough. That 2 health is too much of a drawback. Consecration is great because it's an AoE, and Warhorse Trainer is a new card. So, as you can see, buffs the recruits +1 attack. Can I count on this consistently in arena? Maybe, maybe not, but I think Consecration is just more solid overall. Moving on, Wolf Rider is used in aggro decks mostly. In arena it's very hard to use it efficiently. Unstable Ghoul is an okay card. It's an okay 2-drop, it's not phenomenal, it does its duty. I'm having second thoughts here on Murloc Knight. It's like a 3/4 for 4, and when you inspire it, it summons another random Murloc. I mean, it has chances of being good. There are many good, let's say, 4-drops in Paladin, but this is just for science. I mean, the easy pick, let's say the more conventional pick, would be Unstable Ghoul, but for science I'm going to pick Murloc Knight. Moving onwards, Venture Mercenary, great card, 5 mana 7/6, although it's slight drawback. Clockwork Gnome and Leper Gnome are 1 mana drops, although I do like 1 mana drops because I think they kind of give you the edge on the board at the beginning. I think they just don't do enough, and the Venture Mercenary just wreaks havoc when it comes into play. Moving on, Dragonhawk, do not pick. River Crocodile, very standard 2 mana 2/3. I mean, it's okay. I mean, we all need 2 drops to function in arena. But Piloted Shredder is by far the strongest card, just because of its death rattle. Gadget and Jouster can be potentially very good, because it has the potential of being a 2/3 for basically nothing not going its way. Consecration is also very good, and actually Kvaldi Raider can spiral out of control very easily if it's well protected initially. 3 cards I like very much. Let's say Gadget and Jouster, probably the less good option, since it's very subject to RNG. Consecration is great. You probably in most cases you'd like to pick Consecration, but I already have one, and I tried Quality Raider in some other arenas, and it really snowballed pretty nicely. So I'll take the Quality Raider. Oh, wow, other excellent picks. Equality, probably one of the best cards there are in Arena. Just if you are effectively capable of trading as you wish. Master Jouster also is 5/6 for 6, but if you are lucky, it can really spell disaster for the opponent. It's just really good. But I'll take the Equality here. Moving onwards, Ironbeak Owl, just not particularly good. Boneguard Lieutenant has the potential of being pretty good, but I think that in Arena you just don't have the time to inspire and get that 1 health. So I'm gonna go for a more, let's say, standard Earthen Ring Farseer, which is okay. I mean, the dream scenarios, of course, you have a 2/3, and then it survives the attack against the enemy 2-drop or 1-drop, and then you heal it up with Earthen Ring Farseer. But other new card, Dragonhawk Rider, which in my opinion looks on paper really good, but I'm not exactly so sure how well it functions in, let's say, in ordinary play. However, I think Blessing of Kings is far too good to pass up, so I'll be taking it. And the other card, Storpike Commando, just wasn't good enough. Mad Scientist would be nice if I had secrets. Gurubashi Berserker is very hard to make function in a Paladin deck. It would run much better in a Mage deck, probably. Dragon Sorcerer is very ordinary 3/5, and I'll have to pick him because the Mad Scientist with 2/2 isn't good enough. I know I'm looking very weak on the initial, let's say, drops, but I'm confident I will be getting them because right now I have quite a few 4 and 5 drops. Stormwind Champion can work quite fantastically in Paladin, and I must say, when I'm doing Arena, especially in early picks, I'm much, let's say, I'm nearly halfway, but I'm more afraid of not having enough late game than early game. Because if you have enough, I mean, it depends. It's always about getting a good mix, but I'm always a bit somehow afraid of not getting enough late game. So I'll take the Stormwind Champion. A Ship's Cannon would be okay. Archmage is fine, but just doesn't do enough. That 4 attack just lets it go. And here we have some new cards. So the 4 Evil Heckler, 4 for 5/4. Don't get distracted by the taunt. It's not that good. The Medic is meh, very meh. I mean, it literally doesn't do anything. I mean, it could be used in some like extremely control-y deck, but I don't see it happening. And regrettably, I will be taking the... No, I'll take the Nightblade. I have far too many 4-drops. It's not the card you want to be picking. Doing damage to the opponent is not exactly fantastic. Okay, given the cards, Stormwind Knight, I'm not a big fan. I'm already super high on 4-drops. Stormpike Commando doesn't do enough. That 2 health is just very bad for it. South Sea Deckhand, on the other hand, I will most definitely take. Hopefully I will also get a weapon, and it's also like to fill in like that 1-drop spot. It can be useful. I mean, and even if the enemy uses his hero power on turn 2 to kill it off, it's okay because he's not playing a minion, therefore playing more into board control. Next up, Gnomish Experimenter. Bah, I don't like that. Blessed Champion, 5 mana to double the minion's attack. Most cases you end up with like doubling a 3 attack. Competitive Spirit, on the other hand, looks like an interesting card. I've never tried it. I don't exactly know how it works, but it looks interesting. So for science, I will be taking Competitive Spirit. Micro Machine, very normal, very standard 2-drop. Bodyguard just doesn't do enough. And Hammer of Wrath is, I'm very inclined to picking it, but I already have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 4-drops. That's more than enough, and I'm a bit behind in the early game, so I'll actually take Micro Machine, even though in most cases I would be taking Hammer of Wrath over Micro Machine. But you know, you always have to shift your preferences in Arena. Well, not preferences, you have to shift your judgment based on what you have and what you need. So here we have 3 pretty much garbage cards. Raid Leader doesn't do enough. I mean, it could work out, but I'm not thrilled by it. Murloc Raider is just is not much of a pick. I mean, it's a very standard 2-1, and give Divine Shield to a minion could be good. I mean, it has the potential. I mean, it's very easy to use 1 mana, and maybe on a big creature, it can actually make a pretty big difference. So out of the 3, I think maybe Hand of Protection has that slight bit more of, let's say, efficiency, because Raid Leader impacting a empty board is just paltry and doesn't do enough. So Hand of Protection it is. New set of choices. New card, Fencing Coach. Next time you use your hero power, costs 2 less. So basically you get a hero power, a free hero power. I mean, considering the hero power of the Paladin, you get a 1/1. So basically, I'm paying 3 mana to get a free 1/1 next turn. It's really not much of a deal. Cold Light Seer is good in Murloc decks, otherwise it's absolute garbage. And that only leaves me really with the Ravenhold Assassin choice. So here we go with the Assassin. Moving up, Amani Berserker is okay. Even better in Mage. Wisp is bad. There's just no reason why you should pick Wisp. And Seal of Champion is actually really good. Like, +3 attack and Divine Shield, that's fantastic. Like, even buffing a 3/2, you make it a 6/2 with Divine Shield, that's insane. You can take out even a Venture Cool Mercenary with that. So definitely Seal of Champions it is. Actually, here another set. Divine Favor is a favorite of mine because I've mostly played aggro Paladin, and Divine Favor is kind of the main pillar for it. But in Arena, I really don't know how well Divine Favor might function. The options really aren't that great either. Cold Light Seer is absolutely not. Ravenhold Assassin could be, but Divine Favor is just too situational if you can't control the flow of your cards, and I can't guarantee that in this deck I will be running out of cards consistently. So I'll take another Ravenhold Assassin, and we're starting to look pretty good also on the end side. So once again, Evil Heckler, not good enough. Murloc Raider, no. So that leaves us with the Spider Tank, which is also filling the much-needed 3-drop space. And I mean, 3 mana, 3/4. I mean, Arena is all about the stats, so Spider Tank is pretty much a solid pick. And it has the potential, of course, to have some mech synergy. And we call about mech synergy, and we see, of course, Clockwork Knight, which gives +1/+1 to a mech. I find Seal of Light an extremely boring card. Just doesn't do enough. Silent Knight is it's like a sort of expensive, let's say, Divine Shielded card. I mean, I just don't like. I was thinking of a Shield Bot as an alternative, which has 2/2 and Divine Shield, and it only costs 2. And I mean, you get the benefit of stealth, but I just don't think that's good enough. Seal of Light is just boring. I know I'm a bit weak on the 2s, and Clockwork Knight isn't exactly. Well, I mean, it could combo with other stuff, but. Although it's not the best of choices, I will pick Seal of Light here, just because I'm so weak at the early game. And here we go. Seal of Light could have been taken, but I will be taking the River Creek Crocolisk, and you're maybe wondering why the Crocolisk instead of Puddle Stomper. Because, I mean, I have the Earthen Ring Farseer, so the dream is that the opponent plays, I don't know, like a 1/2 or something like that. I can eat it up with my Crocolisk and then heal it up with a upcoming Farseer. But I don't know, I'm just gonna take it. So that puts me pretty much to 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Oh, that's good enough. Blessing of Wisdom is okay if you need a little bit of card draw. Repentance can awfully backfire and is absolutely inconsistent in Arena. Which leaves us clearly with True Silver Champion, which is a must-pick in pretty much all situations. And here there's a pretty good way of reinforcing our late game, so I think I'm going to definitely be taking Stormwind Champion, unless, I mean, I already have 3, counting just the 5 drops, I have 1, 2, 3, 4. I can just make it an even, I have a lot of 4 drops, just really a lot. And I think I'll take another Qualdia Raider. Yeah, I like two things that spiral out of control and that can be stopped by the opponent. Clockwork Knight. I'm not thrilled. Actually, the captured Jormungandr has the potential of being pretty good. I mean, I'm thinking of equivalent 7 mana cost cards. That 9 health is rather beastly. It could really help out. Light's Justice is it can be nice, but I mean, it just doesn't do a lot, especially in tight situations. And sure, for science, I'll take the Jormungandr, and I do realize this is a very debatable pick. Moving forwards, the Ironfur Grizzly is just not much of a pick. Frostwolf Warlord has the potential of being really good in Paladin because of my hero power. And Frost Elemental is okay. I mean, freezing a character actually makes a pretty big difference in Arena. It can actually spell the difference between winning and losing because of one turn. So, and also seeing just to smoothen out my curve a little bit, maybe Frostwolf Warlord can be slightly better, given, let's say, my type of deck and type of hero. But I'll be taking Frost Elemental. So last pick, and there's another competitive spirit, which is pretty nice. Mogur's Champion is. I hate the 50% chance of attacking the wrong enemy. It can really, it just eliminates all the, let's say, the goodness in the stats, and still 5 health for 6 is really not phenomenal. And just because we want to smooth out, let's say, our curve, I think I will be taking Demolisher. I mean, competitive spirit seems to be also really good, but seems also to be one of those win more cards. I mean, if you're already dominating the board, and you're, of course, when you have competitive spirit, I'm imagining you'd like to have like 2 or 3 minions buffed, but if you're already 2-3 minions against nothing, you're already winning pretty badly. So I think I'll be taking the Demolisher just to finally smooth out the curve. And all in all, I mean, I'm rather happy. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 cards of late game, which is really good. Or at least guarantees a pretty solid late game. In terms of early game, there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 cards to be played immediately. Hand of Protection, not really. Competitive Spirit, meh. And Equality. So it's slightly weak on the early game, so that's going to be critical. Mad Bomber hits are going to be really important. Seal of Lights also. Moving on to the 3-drop, Spider Tank, Earthen Ring, and Demolisher are okay. But then I think that between the after the 3-4 mana, at that point, I think the deck starts to become really, really good. Apart from maybe Murloc Knight, which is of course purely for science. But overall, I mean, I'm really happy if the Kvaldir's Raiders you can get them going. It's really hard to stop, and then the late game just like snowballs on its own. So ideally, I think the hardest part is going to be surviving the early game, and sometimes you get steamrolled, other times you steamroll. I mean, it really depends. But ideally, these are, let's say, my opinions in terms of how such a deck should be played. Having said this, we've come to an end of this other episode of How to Arena. I hope you've enjoyed it and you've found some of the things I've said meaningful. So if you liked it, please subscribe and share. And you're more than welcome to comment anything you like in the comment section, especially in terms of giving advice on picks that you didn't agree with. Having said this, see you guys next time.